Okay, today we are trying out the demo for Aethermancer. This is a game developed by Morai Games. It's supposedly a roguelite monster tamer game. I'm not big on roguelites or roguelikes. They just don't interest me. They don't hook me. I love monster tamer games though, so I really want to give it a go. Plus, Morai are the people who made Monster Sanctuary, which is one of the best indie monster tamer games I've played in a long time. I've completed that game twice, 2.5 times. I played it a fair bit. It's quite good. I highly recommend. It's not perfect, but it's definitely entertaining and a good twist on the genre. So let's see if they've managed to make a hit with Aethermancer. Let's see if it's got that same charm. I'm hoping it does. Apparently, it's supported by the German government. You can see it on the bottom right. There's the bottom right. Don't know why. I hope it's not a propaganda game. That would suck. I'm not big on that, but you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because they've previously released a game I really quite enjoyed. And I think they deserve a little bit of faith. Not all the faith, but just enough to give the game a good chance. Right, so let's get on with this. Let's see what's going on. That. For too long you've overstepped your place. Void will cover every city of our world, starting in Vigil. A fitting end, if considered. All was created, now all shall share our fate. First the fractured ruins, then all Terraste. Then you, Mithras. Syrinx. Don't know what any of that means. It's very dramatic though. Okay, so I guess we choose our starter. I'm probably gonna choose this dude because I always choose the fire type. That's pretty cool. So what's this? Water and wind or earth and fire? Oh, we got a bird. Oh, there's going to be 4 starters. Interesting. That was actually very similar to what they had in Monster Sanctuary. So, fire, water. This is probably going to be lightning, and this will probably be nature or something to that effect. I'm not sure exactly what the typings are in this game. I don't think they're the same as Monster Sanctuary, but you know, let's see. The designs already look pretty cool, and the designs in Monster Sanctuary were pretty cool as well. So that's already a good shout. The visuals, pixel art, but top down instead of side on. The art quality is good. It's surprisingly vibrant. We are Syrinx. Okay, I don't know what he's got to do with Void or whatever, but you know, we'll find out. Oh, there's a dash. Monsters, right, so this is my dude, Charoof. Scorched Earth, signature trait. Whenever this monster applies 1 or more burn stacks, break 1 poise on them. I wonder what poise is. 3x3 damage, an enemy. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the combat's like. Monster Sanctuary was reasonably different for a turn-based monster taming game. And it heavily used status effects and very similar things to do shit tons of damage. Alright, we have to fight this random monster. What is it? It's some sort of winged jackalope. I've noticed a lot of games using jackalopes recently. Well, it's not a lot, but at least a handful. Right, monsters can use different actions in combat. Most actions cost ether. There are 4 different elements of ether, so I guess that's what's at the top left. You don't have much. Your only option is to use your monster's basic attack, right? Okay, cool. How do I make ether, though? Oh, right, so your basic attack generates ether. Nice. Combat animations are nice and smooth. The animation of ether being generated looks a little lame. Gives me mobile game vibes. But the combat animation is pretty cool. Right, so you have to, what, damage them and stagger them? Oh, they're using stagger mechanics in a turn-based game. I mean, Expedition 33 did similar, so it could work. That looks like it's going to shatter it somehow. So presumably that means it... oh yeah, it shatters its poise, so it's probably weak to earth. That's... Bam. Staggered. Ha. Okay, so to capture a monster, you have to get its health down, make sure it's in the staggered state, and then use its memento? So is that like specific to the monster or what? I mean, I'll capture the monster anyway. It's teaching me how, so... Crafts a memento of target staggered monster if it's not already owned. Consumes 1 blank memento. Okay. So, did I catch it? I mean, I might as well kill it then. But I'm not sure, did I actually catch it? The worthiness screen. So monsters gain worthiness in combat, so worthiness is XP. It also provides small permanent bonuses which persist when you rebirth your monster on future runs. So wait, my monsters aren't permanent features? They're like dead between runs? But at least their worthiness and upgrades remain. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's an aspect of the roguelite element of it. Alright, I got a talisman. Sure. Let's equip that. But did I not... I swear I captured the thing though, didn't I? Did that not work? Okay, so this is where I do monster rebirth. Oh. So I did kind of capture it. You start each run with 3 monster souls. Each shrine offers you a random selection of monsters equivalent to the amount of souls you have. Right. I don't think I like that very much. Just have a random selection of monsters. I mean, already, the mechanics feel like it's detaching me from the monsters. And one of the best things about monster taming games is investing yourself and your effort into certain monsters. You build them, you battle with them, you level them up, and then they become better over time due to that investment. This, I don't know. It's not feeling great. But let's see what it's like. Rebirth. This, I guess, is kind of like Monster Rancher, where you're generating a monster from a disc, but in this case you're generating it from the memento. So I guess you're not actually capturing monsters as much as recording them in a thing and then bringing that recording to life. What's a void blitz? You just dash into them. That's what it is. Ooh. I just need a third monster and one more memento. Okay, well, I've got... What types have I got? You're fire and earth. You're water and wind. So let's see what types these dudes are. Can I inspect the enemy? I can. This guy's fire and water, and this guy's fire and wind. So you're a sidekick, you're a tank, you're critical, I guess tank is probably a good idea. But I just prefer the look of the two-headed wolf, so I might just go for the wolf. Right. Smash. The visuals are okay, but the way combat works, the portions of the animations I'm seeing, they're giving me very mobile game vibes, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. Monster Sanctuary didn't feel like a mobile game, even though it was a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania-esque game. Okay. Let's, why? Oh, it's because you're not staggered anymore. That's annoying. So I get the whole generating mana thing, but it just seems a bit awkward. You're generating independent resources for each different creature. I can see that being something you'd manipulate, but also at the same time being something that will eventually just get very tiresome. I killed it. So now I have to have the chicken, which is actually kind of annoying. I already don't like how the stagger mechanic works, because you can't capture a thing unless it's staggered, which it's just a bit of a pain in the backside. Well, I just killed them both, so That was not a success. Maybe I'll get another chance. Okay, so when you level up, you get to choose a new trait. Deals 3 wind damage. You're not a wind type, so that doesn't help. For every 3 fire ether consumed by allies, applies burn to all enemies. On every 3 crits, generates wild ether. Wild ether being neutral, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. And it is a crit thing, so I guess... Yeah, go on then. We'll go with that, because that means more resources. I'm already not a fan of the multiple ether types in combat. That it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that helpful. I'll equip you with this, might as well. The environments so far are okay. Oh, I found a frog called Lily. I am indeed an Aethermancer. Okay, I don't know what Pilgrim's Rest is, but I guess we'll find out. Soul bonding uses a monster's memento to bond in soul only. Okay, so that's the capture mechanic. Right. I mean, the movement animations aren't too bad. Reasonably... Oh, shit. Right. Well, I guess we'll... Cool. Cool. So yeah, you have to stagger them, but you don't have to reduce their health. Which I guess is good to know. Wholesome. What are you? Earth and water. You're a healer. That can actually be useful. You are a critical earth and fire. I've already got something like you, so I guess I'll go for the healer. That sounds like the smart move. Okay, so you don't have to reduce the enemy's health, you just have to stagger them. Alright? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I'll have to experience more for that. So basic attacks generate your ether. I don't know, this multiple ether thing, as opposed to monsters having their own set resource for themselves, seems a bit like a pain in the backside. Especially if I'm going to have monsters that share typings. Like, I already understand that that's probably a way to make resource management a bit more of a risk. Like, you're going to have to make choices. But knowing Morai Games' sort of design philosophy, at least from what I knew from Monster Sanctuary, I wouldn't be surprised if generating ether is something you could kind of break by just making it ridiculous. It would not surprise me whatsoever. Okay, so not all combat animations look great. They're okay. I think I like the in-motion attack animation, like from the basic attack. That looks reasonably cool. The rest of the animations look a bit basic so far. But, you know, it's not terrible by any means. Right, you get a level up. Ooh, that's useful. Yeah, let's do that. Each path will take me to a different zone. Right, so that's probably combat. That's Ether Spring, Knight, or Envoy. Let's go to Ether Spring, because I think that's where I'll be able to summon another Ether thingy. Whatever these creatures are called. Let's see. Alright, cool. Ooh, what's this? Yeah, sure. Get a fire thing. Alright, is that was it, I guess. Parried. Parry it! Okay. You can use artifacts, which are items of some kind. I really don't like that ether animation where it's increasing and going from the monsters to the thing. It just makes the screen look way too busy. For me, that just makes it look cheap. Your mileage may vary, but I'm not the big fan of that. Let's get rid of the healer. Yeah, there's a lot of these icons showing up during combat, like the shields, the hearts, and they clearly represent certain things like regen or defenses going up, but it's making the visuals look a bit too chaotic, look too busy. I don't like that. I can't lie, I'm a little disappointed. After enjoying Monster Sanctuary as much as I did, I would have expected better from Morai Games. This isn't awful by any means, but I don't like the screen being that busy for no reason. There's just a lot going on, and it doesn't need to. At least, not to that level of garishness. It could be far more subtle. Right, so we got rid of a dude. Now don't get me wrong, Monster Sanctuary had a lot of like symbols on the screen and stuff going on, but it didn't feel quite as busy as this. This just looks like ADHD levels of busy. Yeah, alright. Use that. Okay, it seems like typing has some sort of effect in battle, just not as much as I would have thought. Alright, let's go up here. Okay, I mean, running around isn't that interesting. The level design, the visuals as they're presented, they're just not interesting enough. Monster designs are reasonably unique, so I don't hate that. But so far, this is a very flawed game. Staggered. Yeah, the resource management aspect of combat just isn't hitting for me. Generally, combat isn't bad, it's pretty basic turn-based. But you do have to kind of choose your moves with a certain amount of care just to make sure you're taking advantage of that poise breaking mechanic. Why does fire stagger you right now? I'm not sure how elemental weaknesses and resistances are meant to work. The trait leveling up is interesting. I'm not sure how impactful it's going to be, but it's clearly the main way you're going to build your monsters. Alright, instantly I got a reroll item. Okay. I can't cross water. Bit odd. Oh, it has to be wind. Let's just try it again. What is this corruption? Right, I guess I will not use... Oh, is that what the purple bar is? Corruption. Is that why my health isn't going to max? If so, how the fuck do I get rid of corruption? Let's go this way. So far, exploration hasn't been super interesting. The areas have been quite boring. At least at the moment. I don't know if that's going to change. Right, where am I meant to go? Can't cross the water, so I guess I go down here. Can I go through the trees? No. It does feel like I'm locked out of a lot of areas right now. But the level design overall just isn't that interesting so far, which is quite disappointing. That's so inconsistent. I don't like that. If you can dash off of a high thing or across things, you should be able to dash across a tiny stream. But that shouldn't be a problem. But you know, roguelike's got a roguelike. Alright, let's have one more battle and then I think I'm gonna call it. Mostly because I'm getting tired more than anything else. I might have to try some more tomorrow when I have a bit more spare time. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm sleepy. Yeah, I'm going to have to call it soon because it's getting late and I've got work in the morning. So I might have to continue with the demo tomorrow before I make any kind of decision as to whether I want to play this longer term. So far, though, I'm not quite feeling it. Like, some of the animations just look a bit cheap. Some of them, like the standard basic attack animation, looks quite good. It looks very kinetic. The monster designs are reasonably unique, at least in terms of art style. Some of them are definitely hit and miss, and some look a tad generic. Nice. Okay. Let's save and quit. I'll have to continue this tomorrow. Okay, it is the next day. I'm still pretty knackered because work was long and tiring, but I wanted to give this demo a chance because I don't think I played enough of it yesterday. So let's carry on today and see what we learn, see what we like, see what we don't. Speaking of what we like, I do generally like the visual aesthetic. I think the art style is pretty nice. The use of color is not too bad, at least with the main character here. Like the pixel art here is pretty good. Some things look oddly cheap and don't fit, like those portals don't fit the rest of the art style. They don't look awful, they just, I don't know, there's something about them that looks a bit tacky. Right, so I've got 3 pathways. This is the end of the zone. Okay, so that takes me to the next zone. Oh, it takes me to the merchant. This takes me to a loot drop, an epic loot drop, and this gives me gold, so obviously I'm going to go to the loot drop. Going into the portal there looked very cheap. You can tell it was just like, it goes behind the texture. Not a very good animation there. It is what it is, you know. Okay, we don't have additional dudes. That's fine, I guess. So as much as I like the visual aesthetic generally, I'm not finding I'm not finding the levels themselves to be very visually appealing. They're not very interesting. Let's see. Heal self. I mean, I think you're probably best there. Nice. I got a random monster soul. Have to like that. What is this? It is a fountain I can do nothing with, but okay. Level design isn't too bad in certain ways. These lamps, for example, are a very useful way of telling the player what routes they've already gone down. This is particularly important so far because the levels themselves aren't... They're difficult to differentiate visually. So far, every single area I've been in the same zones have just looked kind of the same. There's not been much very different there. And the corridors and pathways all look very similar. So having those lamps is a good mechanical hint to the player. It's annoying that you have to have it. Combat, visually, I think some of the animations look good, but overall, it feels like they're not making very good use of screen space. It's a bit busy. Their previous game was a bit busy when it came to things like the various status effects and icons popping up, but they made better use of screen space. This looks like it was designed for a mobile screen, and I don't like that. I also think it's just too busy when you're making all the different colored ethers. I also don't particularly like generating different elemental versions of ether. I get the design choice and the mechanical design choice behind it. It's meant to give you different resources that you're meant to manage between all your different creatures. I just don't think it works very well. It's probably going to lead to parties that are less varied in terms of their typing and probably make use of more shared typings within your creatures than anything else. And in doing so, you're kind of limiting the monsters that a player is going to want to use in the same party. I also don't like this white outline. Sounds stupid, right? It's a highlight on your own creatures. Having a highlight is fine. I just think it just looks a bit thick, and it makes the sprite work just look like really cheap stickers. Maybe make it thinner, but at the moment it makes the art that is generally good look bad. And considering I'm playing this game on a fairly large TV sort of screen, it comes across as a cheap look as opposed to a good highlighting during combat. All right, let's smack you up, break your posture. Oh, you did not break. So if you didn't break, what was that break? You know what? I'm still not entirely sure how type matching works in this game. Like, for example, this is a fire attack that seems to be effective on the two fire creatures. Because they're fire and wind, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so now finally we're understanding what corruption does. That was the purple bar that limited my health for a while. So apparently when you take damage from an ordinary attack without any sort of shields in place, you get corrupted, which lowers health for following combat. That's a retarded mechanic. It's very clearly there as a method of artificial difficulty for the roguelike aspect. The whole point of, roguelite aspect. The whole point of games like that is that you go on runs and your run has to be difficult in some way. Your resources have to be diminished in some way. If you could keep healing up your creatures without any sort of barrier, it's going to make those runs far too easy to succeed. I just don't think this was a good way to do it. They could have just made combat more difficult or different, or thought about challenge in a different way. This feels very artificial and like a pain in the ass. It's like being poisoned just automatically. Some of these combat animations also look quite cheap. The basic attack animation for most creatures looks pretty good. Looks dynamic, and it suits the creature themselves. Bloody mustache hairs going into my nose. But some of the more elemental-based attacks just don't look very good, if I'm being honest. Again, it just comes across as cheap. And it's particularly disappointing because it feels like Morai have taken a step backwards in terms of their applied skill. Monster Sanctuary was by no means perfect. It wasn't the most beautiful game, but it looked visually cohesive. Most of the animations looked okay. Some of the flashier ones looked reasonably cool. The monster designs were really quite good for the most part. In this one, so far, some of the monster designs are cool. Most of them are quite generic and plain. And I'm finding that to be inconsistent compared to their previous games offering. I'm a bit disappointed in that. Combat itself, I don't know. Combat itself isn't I don't know, it's not feeling as good as Monster Sanctuaries did. Like, it's nice and fast-paced, which is good. But I'm not getting the same sense of strategy and complexity from it. It's also just not as clear in terms of visuals on screen. There's just too much busyness going on. It also doesn't seem consistent. Like I said, the type matchings don't make sense to me right now. So I'm using a fire attack on a fire monster, and it'll somehow be effective and stagger them. I'm not sure how that works, but apparently it does. I like the idea that different creatures have different roles. So like your tank, your critical attacker, that sort of thing. And that the game does tell you what those are. But other than that, I'm not getting the same sense of depth to combat that I did from Monster Sanctuary. It feels oddly hollow. If that makes sense. Let's see what this move does. Okay, that just gave me a bunch of ether. That's cool. And then I guess I'll use that on you. The stagger system, I'm also not really feeling that, to be honest. In concept, it seems good, but without any understanding of how typing works and really how the actual mechanic works and how you can exploit staggering and typing, it's a bit difficult to figure out. I'm just gonna be right back real quick. And we're back. Right, where are we? We died for the first time, so now we're in a town. Pilgrim's Rest. So I'm guessing this is the central hub. Right. Well, I guess we'll talk to people. Hello, Mr. Kookaburra? Kookaburra? No, that's a kookaburra. Capybara. That's what I was thinking. All right. Hello, Gustavo. All right. Interesting. Perhaps. I don't actually remember. Right, so that's going to be currency. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, it's going to be currency and the thing that's going to increase my standing with them. Okay, pardon me. Right. Sure, let's make a deal with Gustavo. So you can start each run with 10 gold. Don't know what that's going to do. merchant discount, merchant inventory upgrade. I don't have enough to afford anything anyway, so it's kind of useless to me. Something oddly flat about all these buildings. And I don't mean just because they're 2D. Maybe it's the shading they've used, but they're not popping out from the background. Like some bits look quite cool, like that water wheel and the water coming down looks good. This weird cabin in the cliff looks flat and cheap. I like the waterfall here. The bridge looks cheap. The Kookaburra, not great. Your main character looks good. There's a weird level of inconsistency going on when it comes to the visuals and the art. It definitely comes across more and more as a mobile game that's being sold on Steam. Ah, hey, my guy. So, Aethermancers, I don't think they're just specific people, like a kind of mage. I think they might also be a species in their own right. Okay, so this is a person that's going to enchant stuff for us. Enhance capabilities of the Aethermancer itself. Okay. So this is another form of upgrade, but more permanent and more connected to the Aethermancer themselves. I quite like this view. It's nice. It's very pretty. I like the use of the colors. It does look a bit flat, but it looks good. Oh, now I'm sneezing. I hope I'm not coming down with a cold. That would suck balls. Oh, what's in here? Is nothing? Okay. Cool. Good to know. Hey, Scarecrow. Ah, it's the frog. Sure, let's say it's pretty. Okay. Soul bonding. Yeah, I don't actually care much. I just want to know what you're here for. I realize I should probably care more because it was telling me about the story, but when it comes to roguelites, I'm rarely as interested in the plot. Mostly because the gameplay rarely hooks me enough to care, and it ends up being far too repetitive. That's definitely not how everyone is going to feel about this. I like the fact that there is a narrative, there is world building. I think that's generally a good thing. It's just the genre doesn't really vibe with me individually. Right, so I'm soulbound with my starter. But I'm not soulbound with anyone else. I guess I will soul bond with you. I can't even afford to do that yet. Alright, so it seems to me like getting those shards is a lot more difficult than I originally thought. I don't know what the drop rate is for them or how I'm meant to get them, really. Guess that's going to have to be something I figure out throughout the demo. I think I've spoken to everyone so far. So, yeah, let's go on another run. I can only select you. Oh, wait. That means that epic item I had on the wolf or whatever thing is gone, right? Is that what that means? Yes, that is what that means. It's gone. Right, so... that's actually kind of annoying. So things you equip during a run don't remain on your monster, so... what's the fucking point? That annoyed me. I realize that's probably a key element to the genre, but that's not something that vibes with me at all. That feels like it's intentionally taken away a piece of my progression, and I don't like any game that intentionally takes away your progression. It's not something I appreciate. I put time and effort into my video games. If it intentionally takes away my progression when it's something I've earned in some way, shape, or form, then I'm going to detract my metaphorical points from it. We're in another area now, and to be honest, it looks the same as every other area. Oh, is that how I get void shards? Okay. Oh, let's start a fight with you, I guess. Alright. So it's going to cost me to soul bond, which means when you're capturing a thing, you don't actually keep it